There was a, you hit a button and you were on. Now there's so many different. You got to do the video and you've got to do the podcast and you've got to do push all the
But
different buttons. You think I'd be
I
used
would,
to it by now?
if I didn't have a manager who was really well connected with such things electronic, I would be sitting here going, "What do I do now?"
Isn't it great when you can find, I've had some young techies help me out because I'm just, you know,
I know, I know.
it's wonderful.
I'm the oldest one in the band, but I'm very fortunate. Everybody else is younger than me, so they're all up on all this sort of stuff. And if my phone goes wrong, I've got Brian. He's got an iPhone the same as me. So I said, why has this gone wrong, Brian? Well, you pressed the wrong button. Oh,
Yeah, I always, it's like, uh, you don't have to explain it to me, just fix it.
yeah, yeah.
Because some of them, and I have great respect for them, but they want to tell
So
you
do I.
exactly how. I'll forget 5 minutes from now. So can you just get me back to what I was doing? Respectfully, of
So
course.
what? The page is gone now. Where has it gone? It's gone off into that world of lost pages.
Ladies and gentlemen, fog hats. Roger, I'm cracking up. Got the it just cracks me up. Is returns to Louis B. Free Radio Show, Brain Food from the Heartland. You've heard me talking about the album to be released November 10th, a week from this Friday, Sonic Mojo. Roger, I'm delighted to have you back. You're a blast.
It's good to talk to you and see you again. That was it
See,
over a year ago, wasn't it?
yeah, about a year ago.
How are you doing?
I'm doing. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Listen to your new
Great.
music.
I'm doing great. I'm playing a great rock and roll band. They're a fantastic band. They're all bandmates, and we got a new record coming out. And life is good. My wife still loves me, which is really good, actually.
How many
Uh,
years?
so does my girlfriend, and so does my.
Oh, okay. Your wife is your girlfriend, right?
Well, my
I'm trying to
girlfriend,
help you here, Roger.
my wife is actually my manager, so um, we're okay. They're the Holy Trinity.
Oh, okay.
Three in
Okay.
one.
How long have you been together?
Uh, it's actually it's our anniversary today.
Get out.
No,
Seriously.
we're working up, and hmm? I know she just reminded me, 26 years, but
Congratulations.
but we've actually been friends since 1976. That was when she
Wow.
was our office manager, and we were just friends, went to each other's weddings and stuff, and then we became more than friends 26 years ago today.
That's beautiful.
It
Um,
was beautiful, actually, still is.
yeah. Okay. No filter between my brain and my mouth. As I'm told, my greatest asset is also my greatest liability. No filter between my brain and my mouth. Will she come on camera or no?
No, no, she doesn't want to do
Okay.
it.
Okay. Some other time I would love to talk with her. Well,
No,
let me just ask, can you tell us a little bit, do you mind telling us a little bit more about the love story? So you knew her for many years before it became romantic, or should I move on, Roger? Just tell
no,
me.
no, 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 no. We were just really good friends.
Oh, there you are. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh,
Isn't
that's wonderful.
she's 108?
Oh, oh. Well, let me ask. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
He keeps me young.
He
He's
keeps you
30.
okay.
77. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you mind sharing the love story? Thanks for coming on, by the way.
Go ahead, go on.
Who wants the, or should
26,
I move on? Should I move on?
26 years ago today.
27. Well, we were friends since 1976. We've
Wow.
been friends forever. We were at each other's weddings. I've been around since his kids were born, so we were all one big family. And then it just got to a point we were both single. We were best friends. He used to come and hang out here all the time. And
Take the dog, take care of the
so
dog when Linda would go skydiving, and I'd look after the dog and, like do stuff usual. And then all of a sudden, 26 years ago this evening, actually, isn't
This
it?
evening, yeah. My dad passed away, and the week before this on my birthday, and I think it kind of pushed Roger and I together. And the way I look at it, it was the most beautiful gift I ever got from my father. Bye.
Oh, I'm still processing that.
Hey, come on, let's
That's
talk
what-
about
thank you.
something
We
serious.
will. But thank you for that. And Linda, if you can hear me, thank you so much for. I mean, I'm really honored that you came on, and thank you for that.
It's,
Wow, that's wonderful. Happy
oh,
anniversary.
look out, you're coming over again. Oh, she's going to kiss me.
No,
Oh,
kissing
wait. Go
him
ahead.
now. I'm kissing him now. Bye, Louie.
Oh, bye, Linda. Oh God, I'm getting teary-eyed. I'm serious. I get emotional. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing that.
Yeah, well, our wedding day the other day, that other anniversary was, we were so busy, I didn't get a chance to buy flowers or a card or anything. And though she forgave me because I was busy, but I felt bad about it, but I do in fact buy flowers and like tell her I love her any moment of the day or day of the week. There's no rhyme or reason for that, just because young love, first love, filled with true devotion. I will stop
That's
singing.
great.
Who did that? Actually, I had
Beautiful.
one of the first records I ever bought as a kid, Ferlin Husky, who was a country singer. Never mind. Let's go some. Hold on a second. We want to talk about this, don't we? Look at
We
that.
do want to talk about the album. Yes, we do want to talk about the album.
Talk about this.
But thank you for sharing that. It's interesting to get a glimpse into your personal life, because you're so joyful about Linda. It's so
I'm not taking my trousers down. I'm telling you that.
That what? I'm sorry.
I'm not taking my trousers down. I'm telling you that. Because stop it. Hold on.
Yeah, by the way, for listeners, Roger's holding up the album on it, MOJO. Oh, wow.
And
sorry, folks. I know you can't see this, but it's wow.
Dory.
And available.
Dory's see. Look at that.
Oh, how cool.
I don't know, it gets better.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to jump around. Vinyl has made a comeback. Oh, it's purple. Oh, and I love purple.
Purple vinyl. 180 gram weight. Sounds really good, actually, because I've got a record player now. I used to have a record player, but it was stuck in the corner in bits and pieces. My last birthday, Scott Holt, our lead singer and guitar player, bought me a new record player and speakers, because he has a record store down in Columbia, Tennessee. And I guess he had one sitting on the shelf. And it's one of the best birthday presents I had. I could play my Johnny Cash records now.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan. So
and there's something about vinyl, right? I mean, there's, this is what I hear from people that really understand quality, records. My last car had a cassette in it. I used to still listen to some cassettes. That was a couple of years ago, but I don't listen to 8 tracks anymore, folks. So you don't.
No, they're horrible.
Yeah, the 8 tracks were.
The 8 track, you'd be like listening to a song, and all of a sudden they cut it off in the middle, and then you'd hear the very ending. I hated it. 8 tracks are horrible. Cassettes were a bit better, but I changed over my record collection to CDs. I said, "Oh, this is good. I can play them in the car."
Yeah.
I'm stuck with a car from 2018, because after that they stopped putting CD players in.
Yeah.
Don't have a CD player. I mean, we rent a car like that. You don't have a CD player. Oh no, sorry, sir. You got to see this little hole here. You plug something in there. Well, I don't have something to plug into that.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. Change
it. It's tough sometimes. So I hear you. I've got a lot of CDs, and my current car, the CD player is not working, so it kind of puts me off a bit.
My CD players. In fact, I got the last night we got the Rolling Stones new CD. I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I heard a couple of like tracks and stuff, and it sounds like great. The Rolling Stones. Let's talk about the Rolling Stones, shall we?
Yeah. Oh God,
Foghat for the last 3 or 4 months. Foghat.
Foghat's on. Yeah. So let's first tell us. Let's give us Foghat, your story of Foghat. Take us back. Give us a little history for younger people or those.
1971, myself and Lonesome Dave left Savoy Brown amicably for us and Kim, of course. And then we formed Foghat. Actually, Kim Simmons, who was the guitar player with Savoy Brown and leader of the band, actually wrote some songs for our new album. He wrote 4 songs for us. We recorded 3 of them, and unfortunately, Kim couldn't play on the record. He passed away last December. But we were actually, what happened was we reconnected around in 76, and then Savoy Brown joined the same agency that we have, that Foghat has, Paradise Artists, and we started doing a lot of dates together. So which was really cool. And he also played on our last studio album called Under the Influence. And after we'd finished the recording down in Nashville, actually, with our producer, Tom Hambridge, Kim said to me, I'd really like to write some songs for Foghat. And I said, that would be great, except you have to play on them. And he said, no problem, Rog. Unfortunately, he couldn't play on them, but we recorded 3 of Kim's songs on this record, and I'm particularly proud and pleased with that. Kim was a fantastic blues guitarist and a very prolific writer. He used to put a record out every year. Actually, talking about records, this is our 17th studio album.
Yeah.
I say, wow.
Yeah. 17th studio album. And that's, again, Sonic MOJO is out next Friday.
You like my t-shirt?
Detroit. Your t-shirt for listeners says Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah. Detroit.
Detroit.
Detroit. One of my favorite towns.
So in putting this together, after all the albums, all the work that you did, what was the process like for you and the band?
Great. We have our own studio down in DeLand, Florida. Bryan Bassett, our lead and slide guitar player, he's the bright one in the band. He engineered it and produced it. It was we probably do it over about a 3-year period, but about a year ago we got serious and started like finishing stuff up, and we had all sorts of songs from all over the place, and then Bryan sort of started getting things organized. We actually probably made another 10 tracks or different songs, but we decided these 10, or was it 12, 11, we decided these are the ones that are going to make it. I'm really excited about this record. The reason I got into playing was because I wanted to make music, to be creative. It's a lot of live is really, that's in our blood, that's in our DNA. But yeah, live is the way to go. And actually, we're playing 3 songs from the new album live. So far, so good.
Let me ask you, Roger, when you say that you got into music because you had this drive to be creative.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that, or where you think that comes?
The reason I started playing drums and got into music was because I loved music. My early influences, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Chuck Berry, then of course Muddy Waters. And it was always about the music. And as a drummer, I always wanted to play in the band. I've done I do a couple of drum solos, but I'm not in the league of the greats. I can make some noise and
Oh, now
interesting
I
for
think
others.
you're now. Yeah, okay, you know, there's all.
But I play in a band. I
Some might
play
say
in
they
a
can be self-deprecating, and that's me. I mean,
band.
come on, you're.
I play in a band. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah,
You know, playing in
I
a
think you're
band.
minimizing your talents dramatically, but go ahead.
But I love playing in a band. That's the fun part. Our Bryan said one time said some words that I thought had the ring of truth. He said, "Playing in a band is like you're having a conversation with the other musicians," and I thought that's really cool. He probably read it somewhere. He probably made it up as well. He's very bright. I love him like a brother. He's I don't
That's
know what to do without him. In fact,
that's interesting. Like communicating, like with each other.
yeah, yeah,
It's,
way to go.
I like that. I like that. With the album, I do want to say that you're also touring.
Yeah,
Gary, Indiana on the 2nd, New York on the 12th, then out to California and Illinois. What do you anticipate it's going to be like on the road?
well, actually,
This time.
Sunday, November 12th, we're playing in New York at a club called the Iridium. It's actually a
Iridium.
release party. And we'll be playing a bunch of the songs from the new record, and we will be jamming, we'll be playing our hits as well. And then on Friday, November 17th, we're going to be in Southern California in San Juan Capistrano. We're playing a place called what's it called? The Coach House. I've been there many times, actually. And we're doing a record release party there, and we'll be playing a bunch of songs from the record, and we'll be talking about and playing and having fun, a good time. We'll be rocking and rolling. And it's sort of winding down now. We do between 60 and 70 shows a year.
Wow.
I love going on the road.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
It's good fun. I say things like 1, 2, 3, and the band starts playing.
I love your sense of humor, Roger.
I hope I've got the right tempo. No, that's my job actually.
That
Tempo.
is your job.
Sitting in the pocket and rock it. That's what I have to
I
do.
like that. Sitting in the pocket and rock it.
In Cleveland.
That would I've got to say, Terry Chacon says Sonic Mojo exclamation points, and she says, "Hello, beautiful men." Well, she hasn't seen me lately, but Roger looks great. Thank you, Terry.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that's true, isn't it? Like my T-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, your T-shirt. You love that Detroit T-shirt. Where'd you get the T-shirt? Detroit, right?
Actually, our last lead singer, Charlie Huner, retired 2 years ago. He bought it for me. It's the only thing he ever gave me. But other than that, I wear the T-shirt. Thank you, Charlie.
You love it, but you love it. So
I do. I love Detroit as well. We played a club there this summer. Was it Club 19 something? They gave me a hoodie as well, which was really cool. Now Detroit, you know what? When I first came to the States, when I was in Savoy Brown, Detroit was the first city that really embraced us, and so I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Detroit. I've probably had too much fun there, more than anywhere else. So there again, New Orleans, I probably had too much fun, and in New York.
Can you have too much fun?
The other points in between.
Can you have too much fun? Yeah, I'm thinking.
Well,
it
yes, you can have too much fun. I remember once or twice I had too much and said, "I'm not doing that again."
Yeah. I generally think I can do better than that. Oh, I'm glad they didn't catch me in the park naked for it's just a thing. Every full moon I just need to be in the park and strip down. But why did I say that? Well, I won't
I don't think I try this down in public anymore.
Ear-Foghat Sonic Mojo. You crack me up. I I love that. I love that. I love that. I love and the cover. I love the fact that it's purple. I want to ask you about On the Road. You've got a lot of, oh God, is that great? Okay.
love-
Now I'm going to do
Don't
something
worry,
that
I've got my-
listeners now I'm going to do something that's going to horrify listeners, but I
Roger.
want to make sure I get it done. Okay, Roger, I want to take a picture of you from the screen holding the album, but I want to be able to see your face also.
No, you don't.
Your face. Oh, that's not good. I can't see your there. Well, let's see. Okay, album more. Where's can you put it to your side, the side of your head? Like here he comes. There he is. I think that is so cool. We should have done a video. Here, we'll do this is terrible. One more time, I'll do a video of you crossing
Okay.
it across your face. This is terrible professional. Yeah, here we go.
Rogerio, eh?
Yeah. Fog, Sonic MOJO. How cool. And Roger, purple. I just love that shade of purple. Yay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis.
Oh God, that was great. That was great. I love that. I keep saying I love the color, and purple is one of absolutely when you're playing, you've got a very broad audience as far as age, because I was mentioning to a friend of mine, a young guy, I don't know, 40 maybe, and I don't know why I assumed that he wouldn't know, but he right away he starts saying slow ride, right? Slow ride, full for this. It's like, oh my God, this guy that's 40, 30 years younger than I am. That should have been easier math in my head. But
Yeah.
and no, so you see young people at your concerts. I mean, young relative to us.
Yeah, well, we've been around a while, and we're
Yeah.
still on, classic rock radio and all the other forms. They won't play the new stuff, but we found some more outlets for it where you can actually hear some of our new stuff. But we got it. I think we got it right in the first place. We have probably half a dozen songs that are still in rotation somewhere on this planet. And people sort of start saying things like, "What? They're still around? Really? Yeah, they play all the time, all across the country." What is it? We've done car commercials, hamburger commercials, in a number of films. Slow Ride was the first song on Guitar Hero. That was interesting. A bunch of kids are becoming 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds with their plastic guitars saying, "Can you sign this?" And of course we did in a gleeful manner. Like I said before, maybe we got it right in the first place with the sort of music. It's only rock and roll, but we like it. Who did that? Who did that song?
No, I am not naming other bands while you're on with me. I know the band, but
it's only rock and roll, but I like it. Yes, I do.
and as only one, I love it. By the way, I love it. Jeff wants to know about naming the band Foghat.
Well, Rolling Stones was already taken. No, I digress. Let's see. It was. I've told this story a few times. Lonesome Dave.
Yeah.
Put up Foghat when he was playing a like a Scrabble type game with his younger brother John when he was about 13 or 14, and we couldn't come up with a name that we all liked. There was some horrible names bandied around when we first got together, and actually, I think it was the day we were actually going in to see the artwork. Myself and Lonesome Dave and Rob Price. I was driving into the city with them, and we said, "Well, what are we going to call ourselves?" And Foghat. We said, "That'll do." It doesn't really mean anything other than us. Some people think it has sort of like connotations of maybe drug use. No, it doesn't. It's about us, the band. No drug use here.
I love your sense of humor. And I remember you were telling me that before. Do you remember any of the bad names that you bantered about? Any of the
No, and I'm not going
No.
to mention them either.
Okay.
What?
That's fun.
The Solid Senders.
The
I think
solid.
I got it. I think that I remember a Little Richard song, and She's a Solid Sender. I said, Solid Senders, that sounds good. Everybody said, we're not calling ourselves that. I said, I'm good with that.
Okay.
There was all sorts of horrible names coming up. But no, I don't remember the others. It's weird trying to, a band name.
Yeah.
What are the new ones? Nine Doors Along the Road and 12 Doors Up. And actually, it is hard, isn't it? What do you do? It doesn't really mean anything. It's like I thought The Police was a pretty cool name.
It's interesting when you say that because I'd never thought
Well,
about
you're at a hotel room and
yeah.
bang on the door and they say, hello, it's the police here. It's Sting wants to come
then they hear the toilet flush, right? quick, flush it. But that thinking about that, how naming a band, that's got to be challenging unless there's something that just pops out, like Foghat.
Well, I'm not going to have that problem anymore because I'm going to play in Foghat until the day I depart. Except there is another band I play in. It's called Earl and the Agitators, which is the same as Foghat. In fact, what happened was the previous album, Under the Influence, we were about 2 or 3 songs short of an album, and so I invited Scott Holt, who is now our lead singer, down to this is about 7 years ago, to the studio. We've been friends since about 2014, and we needed to write 3 songs for the album Under the Influence because it was a couple of songs short. So instead of 3, we wrote 17. Typical musician, and then of course we put 3 songs on the album that we'd recorded, and then we had 16 or 17 songs left over. So I talked to our manager and said, look, we've got these songs. Can you make a record out of it? Bryan Bassett, our lead and slide and engineer and producer, there's a moment of magic when we go from the first bottle of red wine to the second bottle of red wine. There's a lucid moment right between when they change over from one to the other. And Bryan Bassett stood up and said, Earl and the Agitators. So that's the name of the band. Actually, Earl and the Agitators were opening up for Foghat for a while, but after about playing for 3.5 hours, it was like I said, it's enough of that. I would be very tired. Boy, the boy would be tired.
Foghat Cellars, the wine. I just put that link up also.
Okay.
How did that come about? Yeah.
I quite like wine. Wine is has always been Foghat's beverage of choice, and about 2006, I believe, 2005, 2006, somewhere around there, we were playing the Mid California State Fair for 2 nights, and a winemaker by the name of Steve Rasmussen, who used to work at Tally Vineyards. They make some really nice wine. He was their winemaker, and he came to the show and was a big Foghat fan. He sent an email to our manager and said, would you be interested in making some wine? I started frothing at the mouth and giggling furiously and saying, yeah, let's do that. Of course, I was just thinking of having my own cellar, and my manager then had to sort of do all the hard work and become a licensed wine operator and winery. Whereas I just said, I'll drink the wine. No, I actually,
I'll say it. Yeah. Go ahead.
And we made a 2007 2010 vintages. We actually picked the grapes and made the wine. So at the moment we have a 2013 Pinot Noir from Central Coast of California, and we have a 2014 Chardonnay from the Central Coast of California. But the COVID nightmare kind of like put a dent in making wine for a while. We couldn't go out or anything, but I think probably sometime next year we'll be putting some newer wines out. I was in Oregon earlier this year and met some terrific sort of winemakers there. But yeah, we'll probably do some more. I'm not. I haven't run out of wine. The cellar is still pretty big.
Full, yeah.
Anybody wants some Foghat wine? But actually, what we do is we send like bottles of wine to people. You know, people like yourself. You know, the old days it used to be money and cocaine. I think.
Yeah.
And now we can send somebody. Right? He says right. He's acknowledging that.
I am acknowledging that.
Terrible. No. So now we just
send
wine,
yeah.
And I think that's a more pleasant way of going about business. Actually, thank you very much for playing our record. Here's a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could see that also. Are the autographed bottles still available? I see them.
Yes, we autograph them for people.
Yeah, I see them at,
there are some strange rules about winemaking. What is it? It's firearms, tobacco, and
alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
The rules are very like, you know, sending wine across state lines and stuff. You have to have somebody in the middle of it. It's but having said that, the beauty of this is that America, the US especially, is becoming famous for its winemaking. Every state I go to, they have winemakers now, except in Texas, where they make some really good vodkas as well. Actually, no, they have winemakers down there, which is kind of interesting. It's sort of gone back to where when this country first started sort of doing stuff, they would grow grapes. Well, because maybe the water wasn't that clean, or maybe it was, but maybe they just like to sort of drink beer and wine for breakfast. That's terrible. I couldn't function like that.
No comment. I've had beer for breakfast.
Well,
only. Oh boy, I can't. Again, no filter. Only when I haven't gone to bed yet. Only when I haven't gone to bed yet.
I don't drink as much as I ought to.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
It's a Rodney Crowell. It's a line from a Rodney Crowell song, which is it's a terrific song. Have you ever heard of Rodney Crowell? He's a great songwriter. Yeah, fantastic songwriter. It comes from a song called "Song for Life." I don't drink as much as I ought to. I heard it on the radio one time about 20 years ago. I was driving down to Nashville to see some friends, and this song came on the radio, and the only line I caught was, "I don't drink as much as I ought to," and it took me ages to find out who wrote the song. But Rodney J. Crowell, a fantastic songwriter. I actually talked to him when we were down in Nashville, but we also did one more of his songs on one of our other albums called "Ain't Living Long Like This." So maybe we'll do a Rodney J. Crowell album. No, we won't. No.
Yeah.
I think we'll do a bunch of Johnny Cash songs. No, can't do that, because who can better Johnny Cash? Actually, Johnny Cash, when I was 12, 13 years old, I'd be riding my bike to school in Southwest London, singing Johnny Cash songs. My voice wasn't quite as low then, but I would be singing, "Well, she loves you, Big River, more than me. Well, I met her."
That's great.
Oh, Minnesota. Johnny Cash is probably one of the greatest songwriters ever. What I loved when I was a kid listening to Johnny Cash was there was always a story. I didn't always understand what he was singing about. "Her eyes are water, mama. 3 feet high and rising. I'm going, what's that all about? But later on, I figured it out. But there was always this terrific rhythm going through his songs, and there was always a great story that even a 13-year-old kid from Southwest London could sort of relate to, even though I didn't always know what he was singing about. Johnny Cash, he's one of my all-time favorite singers, songwriters, and somewhat, I think, of a hero. I think Johnny Cash was a great American, and I never got to see him live, which I regret somewhat. That wasn't my fault. I wasn't here, but I have his records, and he lives on forever on his songs.
I mean, yeah, and the songs. That's as like Foghat.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but
Well,
we're still
think
here.
about
We're still here making noise, touring around, and you folks ought to come out and see us. We'll be playing all our hits, and we'll be doing some stuff from our live, our new album. Hold on a second.
What's that album? He's banning it again. Sonic MOJO. There he is. So, talk about some of the process of putting the songs together for Sonic MOJO.
Basically, what we do, like I said, we have our own studio down in DeLand, Florida. We go down there usually January, February, March. I live in New York, actually. The other 3 guys in the band live in Florida, but so I want to go down south, January, February, March, and we change the set around. We add another 5 or 6 different songs to the set. We made, this is our 17th studio album, so we have a lot of material to pick from, and we're not stopping anytime soon. We've already started working on some other tunes. That's another story. We just start jamming. We're set up like in our living room, which is also our recording, and we just play. And often when we're touring during the year, often we'll come up with riffs, or during that period of time, we'll start writing lyrics or ideas for songs, and then we all just get together and see what works. It's done pretty organically. I think that's a term I can use to talk about music. We're all in the same room, and more often than not, when we're working out, the cadence of a song and like how it's going to go, myself and Scott Holt it would just be drums and guitar and a singer. We often keep those basic things. The first, in fact, a number of the songs that the first vocals that Scott did are on the album. So it's fun. I love making records. It's easy now. Easy in so much as there's no red light. Once we've actually worked the song out, and we like acoustically and semi-acoustically, we'll like run through it and say this is good, and then we tape it. It's never more than 3 takes. No, but more often it's like the first or second. But if you've got once you've rehearsed the song and got the arrangement down, if you've got to play it more than 3 times, it's time to move on. That's basically how we do it.
How do you? I don't want to ask this. When you hit that time, it could be the first take, could be second, could be third. What is it that? Trying to think how to formulate the question. How do you know it's done? That's it. No more. We're going to walk away from it.
Well, like after 3 takes, it's like sometimes then what we'll do is we'll come back to it either later that day or the following morning and listen to it and go, oh, this one's working. And then, of course, we'll say, oh, this one's working too. But you just make a decision. It's okay. Making music is fun.
Yeah. That's it. That's interesting with the takes. You did.
What?
You got to go?
Yeah. Apparently they want me to do something over there. But no, sorry, we got minutes.
A couple of minutes. Roger, let me ask you this. You did say that you're working on something else. some, but
Well,
can
we're,
you?
we're always working on something else. I'll be working on something else until the day I depart this earth.
Yeah. Is there something, is another album? Or should I not ask? Should I leave it alone?
Well, we probably had about 10 songs left over from the last album that didn't make it on this record, but we'll maybe look at those. But actually, this January, February, March, we'll be back down in the studio and we'll be making some new noises. Though, as I said earlier, I'm particularly proud of how this record turned out. It covers
Sonic MOJO.
Oh yes, Sonic MOJO. It covers what our influences are. You know, America. See, I came here. I'm an import. I came here first time I came here was in 1969. I think, Mr. Boyd Brown. But one of the beauties of America is that you know you have the blues, you have jazz, you have bebop, rock and roll, country, gospel music, folk music, and you have this wonderful melting of all those beautiful noises that people have made from all over the world. But only in this country does it come together.
That's interesting.
And that's the one thing I think that America has given to the world. I know has given to the world, because you've given music to the world. This is why I love my adopted home. It's the reason I came here in the first place.
Appreciate that. You got to, yeah. Linda's saying, get off with that guy. I don't like him anymore. Get off with him. Be done with him, Roger.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Listen, maybe we catch up after the album is released. Of course, you're going to be on the road. I'm grateful for the time, and thank you so much for saying that about America, because sometimes Americans don't see that because it just is, and we don't get that perspective from. And that's beautiful.
I think it's part of the greatness of this country, the fact that we gave music to the world, and even to this day, that American artists are still influencing people all over the world. And it's the one thing I think makes this country great. It's the music that's come out of here and will continue to do so, because we have this beautiful melting pot of people and ideas with music. And I'm so proud. I think proud's a good word, and happy to be part of that. It's and I mean that. It's something. I
do that. I feel that. Yeah,
that's why I wear this shirt. Detroit. Some people don't think it is, but I love Detroit.
I feel the sincerity very much, Roger. And thank you for sharing that, because again, it gives those of us that have been born and raised here a different perspective, because that we wouldn't get. Sonic MOJO is released a week from Friday, November 10th. We've got those. Roger's got to show it one more time. I'm grateful for the time. I always love doing this. I always have a blast with you. And thank Linda again for me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Roger Earl. Wow. How cool, folks, because here's a guy that, again, part of the soundtrack of our lives. I mean, talk about being part of the soundtrack of our lives. And you think